Okay, guys, look, Austria, it was a disaster. There's no way around that. But, we put that behind us now. That was last week. We refocus and we go again. And we make sure we get a strong result here today, okay? And, Gio, mate, I don't know what you're doing to people, but stop having them drive into you, please. Hey guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Forza Ferrari. Today we have the British Grand Prix looking to rebound from a very disappointing Austrian race last time out. And Giovinazzi just really does just need to finish the race. He got been essentially taken out of the last two races. We're still sitting third in the Constructors, but Giovinazzi is down to sixth now, having been third at one point in the drivers, a point behind Mick. Of course, Perez took him out and counted up. He had to start from the back in Austria because of the damage done by that Perez accident, and then Sargent took him out. So no luck at all for Gio the last two races. If we can finish, we should be able to get some good results in. We've just got to, not let people drive into us. I don't know. Like, what else can you say? Now, there's one thing I did want to draw our attention to, which is the driver update or progress. And here it is here. So we've got Giovinazzi, we can see there who's who. And they are both still moving forward a little bit. Gio less so than Mick because he's older. Obviously, Mick is younger, so therefore more room to develop. And you can see Giovinazzi is actually, I mean, he's won Le Mans. He's a very good driver. I really feel like he never got to fully show what he could do in Formula 1, unfortunately for him. And Mini, who we're going to have to send back to F2 or 3, he's developing as well. He'll probably go down there and absolutely dominate F3 if that's where he ends up. So, that is that. But there's not too much else to catch you up on. It's more or less been just the week's break between the two races. The cars are as they were. And, there's not really, as I said, anything else to catch you up on. So let's go and have a look at the race and the track. Now, we are expecting, unusually perhaps for the British Grand Prix, a dry weekend. The circuit for qualifying purposes, we can see there, it's red sector 1, blue sector 2, yellow sector 3, sections by speed. Mostly it's fast-flowing corners. There's a couple of slower traction zones there as well. Car attributes, top speed, acceleration, low and high speed cornering. It's a really good test of a car, isn't it, Silverstone? And we can see there the safety car stop, not that much slower. And if we just go to the circuit map here, you can't really see it, I don't think. But from turn 16, you kind of go straight. And if you're not aware, a lot of us will be, I imagine, if you're watching this. But you kind of miss out like 17 and 18 as corners. So you do actually save quite a bit of time doing a pit stop. So it wouldn't surprise me if a two-stop is actually worthwhile doing, especially if we get a safety car. The compound performance, we can see there, there's quite a drop off for the soft. The difference between the medium and the hard is not great, and the medium tire is about 0.3 of a second faster a lap. So the medium tire is probably the race tire you want, but I do wonder if maybe a hard tire in there somewhere might not be a terrible idea. Carlos Sainz won here last year in real life, 2022. I was at that race. Only time I've been to a Formula 1 race. Absolutely brilliant. Loved every second of it. This year, of course, I'm assuming it was Verstappen that won because he just wins at every race this year, doesn't he? Let's have a look at performance targets, and we can see we are expected to qualify both cars in the top 4. I mean, that is going to be tough considering we are probably the third fastest car. So, we'll see how we go with that one. 2 cars in the top 4 to finish. Wow, they're not asking for much, are they? We might as well go for fastest lap if you're going to go big or go home. Qualifying streak of both cars in the top 6. Might be possible. As I said, we are the third fastest car, so that might be doable. And 1 car in the top 6 for 2 races to get the finishing streak bonus there as well. So that is all of that. Let's go off to Silverstone. And there we go, confirmation of the weather. So I'm going to do some free practice, hopefully no accidents, and we'll get a good setup, and I'll see you for qualifying. Alright, so free practice is done. Let's have a look at how we went. Now, FP1, we were able to put Gabriella Mini in the car, which is good. Now, Alonso's taking penalties, you can see there as well. Now, there has been an update just before I went to start recording this. The game had updated, so I'm assuming part of that is that we are able to put Mini in the car for FP1. Which makes sense, because he can't race in Formula 1, but he should be able to, work towards super license points, if this was real life. So I think that actually makes sense towards as the game should be working. So it's good that that's been fixed. You can see there are a few penalties, though most of them are towards the back of the grid. FP2, Mick back in the car. We were 7th and 8th. Now we do have older engine parts in as well, so don't be too concerned that we're down here, and especially at the gap, because I think once we put the newer parts in, we will naturally be quicker anyway. So yeah, 7th, 8th, 9th was where we were pretty much in free practice. Let's see where we stand in qualifying though. Alright, and we are back for Q1 because we are 15th and 13th after our first runs. Now, we've had to burn up a new set of tyres here, obviously, and this is everything we didn't want out of a Q1 session. You can see Giovinazzi's in front of us. He's got someone behind him, which is pointless. I don't know why you'd be that close. Yes, you'll get a bit of a draft down the straights, but Silverstone's not that sort of track. It's too many high-speed corners. And you can see there's a danger here that they're going to back us into, or he's going to back into Mick and ruin his lap as well. But both green first sectors, which is good. Not much else as go. There's some green sectors behind us. Sonoda, Bottas is not overtaking us though. Yellow middle sectors for both cars. And, well, I think Mick might just about get away with this. Giovinazzi has stayed 13th. Mick has gone 12th. We have got away with it, but only just. Jesus. So absolutely no idea what has gone wrong there. Yeah, that's not great, is it? Alright, so here we are in Q2. We are taking a big risk with Mick. We're trying, because we had to use 2 sets of new tyres in Q1. We're trying to save a set with Mick. Now, he's sitting 5th. I'm hoping, obviously, that there's not going to be enough people to be able to go in front of him. Giovinazzi, though, was 7th, and it was just a little bit too close with assuming that Verstappen is going to do a better lap. It's only a 10th and a half or so, 2 tenths before he would then be knocked out. In theory, you'd think the Mercedes could do a quicker lap, and Giovinazzi on a new set of tyres is not going faster here. It might be that, thankfully, I don't know where the first pace in that first run came from. Verstappen has indeed gone fast. We've got someone trying to overtake us here. That's how slow Giovinazzi's lap has been, but somehow we're through. What a waste of new tyres that was. So there we go, 6th and 8th. So we have got through into Q3. I did not see that coming after Q1, so let's go and do Q3. Alright, now we are on board with Giovinazzi, who's currently 10th. He's really struggling. Mick's up in 3rd. Now, there are some cars behind him. The Red Bulls, you would imagine, would go quicker. It's just the Aston Martins in front of him right now. But Mick is on fire so far. And what's happening to Giovinazzi is just really strange. He is on a new set of tyres, though. Both cars are on a new set of tyres for their second run here. Mick has not gone faster in that first sector, though. Giovinazzi has, but to be honest, he would have done well to go slower, given that he is at 2nd and a half, more so, off the pace in that first run. He did have a spin on his out lap, so that may have compromised him a little bit then on his actual lap. But he's gone green. Mick has not. Mick, I think, has just nailed his first lap, to be honest. Here we go. Giovinazzi goes 3rd. Wow. Giovinazzi, warming into the session, has somehow stuck it on the 2nd row. Now, let's see where the Red Bulls go here. Mick's ended up going faster as well. But Perez goes in front. Is Verstappen going to go in front? No. So we're 4th and 5th ahead of Max. And with Alonso to take penalties, that will mean that both cars will be starting on the 2nd row. We'll have that all to ourselves. Both cars in the top 4. We've done it. We've done that, what the board wanted. That can only help. And, yeah, where did these lap times come? Look, we did 27.5s. He went almost a second and a half faster in Q3 than he did in Q1. That is unbelievable. Same with Mick. Alright, so let's have a look at our strategy. Now, I did save a set of medium tyres. So we have 2 sets of medium. Though it looks as though here perhaps what we might have wanted to do is have the extra set of softs. But what I'm thinking this will allow us to do is we should be able to be more racy, I would imagine. So we can go longer and harder, I would think, on these tyres. Well, we just won't have the drop-off, will we? So I'm liking. I don't think I regret it, because we saw the drop-off on the soft tyre was quite a bit. So I think we'll split it, though. We'll set Giovinazzi off on the mediums. He's starting 3rd. We'll set Mick off on the soft, because he has a new soft tyre that we don't have with Giovinazzi. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see what we can do here. Now, if we push Mick, we don't want to make a useless stop though, do we? So let's go with that, and we will be able to push the tires when we want to. It might well be that the end of the stint is when we want to do that though. So yeah, we'll actually no, not that one, this one here. But anyway, yeah, that's going to be our strategy. Let's see if it works. All right, welcome back. Now, I tweaked Giovinazzi's strategy. I'll show you that in a second. He's still starting on the mediums, though. So let's go jump on board. And I think we might even, as Giovinazzi got himself up to second, he has. So that is nice. Mick on the soft tyre has dropped into fourth. So he's just held position. And that's obviously not bad. We are DRSing as always. What we're going to do with Giovinazzi though is on the middle stint we're going to go almost not quite a full push, but an orange push instead of a red, and try and just sort of jump cars, do a sort of an extended over undercut. I'm not quite sure what you'd call it, but that's what we're going to try and do, and then we'll see if that works. Now Lance Stroll is all over the back of Gio here, as Perez has just bolted off into the distance, hasn't he? Yeah, it may well, but I mean, we've just got to try and, if we can stay ahead of the Aston Martins, that'd be good. Alonso's down in 11th after his penalty. And, I mean, the sad thing we've got with Giovinazzi is not only do you have to take a penalty because of the Perez accident, he's going to have to take another penalty because, we've lost that first set of engines and everything. So, whereas it was likely we'd have to take a penalty anyway, we're going to have to take 2 penalties because of that crash. Now, it may well be that everybody has that similar sort of something like that happens through the year, but it's certainly not ideal. We're getting close, actually, to Mick needing to take a penalty for an ERS. And if this was going to be a bad qualifying race, he would have done it here. But as things turned out, it worked out not too bad. Showing some curb, Gio. Showing some curb. Don't let him go around the outside of you. We've got a yellow flag. And that is DRS enabled as well. So we're going to be a sitting duck to Lance Stroll down the straight. Hopefully, we can stay with him and Mick can sort of DRS along with it. But Giovinazzi is putting up a good fight. Has he got the inside? Can he make that work for us? Not quite. It doesn't look like. So that looked inevitable, didn't it? We've got Verstappen behind us as well. But if we can try and stay in Stroll's DRS and sort of prevent the inevitable Verstappen pass as well, then that wouldn't be a bad thing either. So yeah, let's see how this develops. Okay, so we've eased Mick past Giovinazzi. What we did was we sort of harvested Giovinazzi and deployed Mick just to make sure that he got past him. And on the soft tyre, he is able to keep up with Stroll. He's catching him and got us back within DRS range. So we've got a yellow flag for Stroll! Was it? Yes, it was Lance Stroll. Just driving off the road. Let's have a look at it. Too much pressure. Both Ferraris behind him, and he couldn't handle it. So that puts us second and third. Just, yeah, dropped it on the exit.
I'm sorry.
And, yeah, it's a very Lance Stroll thing to do, isn't it? So, this leaves Mick now trying to chase down Perez, which isn't going to happen, I wouldn't have thought. But, yeah, well, second and third now, and the Aston Martins are 10th and, I'm assuming, last. Yeah, Stroll is last. So, what a fall from grace that is. So, Verstappen has worked his way past both Ferraris. He got on a soft tyre, so it was Giovinazzi wasn't too difficult for him. And then once he's behind Mick with DRS, that was relatively straightforward as well. So that's a shame. We needed Stroll, I think, to protect from Verstappen. Alright, so we are still third and fourth. We have sent Mick after Verstappen just because he's coming in this lap for the pit stop. We sort of didn't need to save the soft tyres, therefore. And he's closed the gap right down. You can see that he's right there in front of him. Now let's hope and pray that we do a good stop. You can see what I mean about the pit stop. I mean, we temporarily overtook Verstappen there. It is slow. It's very slow. It's 2 seconds off the pace of what it needed to be. And is it going to still drop us into clean air? It looks like it sort of has. We do have the ability to push a little bit here, but that's not the start we wanted to this race with pit stops, is it? But yeah, Giovinazzi now is much quicker than Verstappen. Verstappen is on a soft tyre, isn't he? Yeah, so I'm not quite sure if Max is trying to one-stop a soft tyre. What is he trying to do here? maybe the 2-stop is not the way to go, but we're on it now, so... Oh, no, there we go, but Matt is in the pits now. So, let's attack. I wonder if Mick could do an under... No, because it was a shitty stop. I should get away with shitty. Yes, that's going to ruin any chance of the undercut, which we, in theory, could have had there. But Ferrari's pit stops have struck again. Alright, so we are currently leading the race with Giovinazzi. That is only because Perez has stopped. He is he's come out just sort of in between, right with Verstappen, who's currently... They're all getting held up by the Alpines. So... hopefully Mick can try and close them down a little bit here. He's going to be a little bit careful on his petrol. But here we go with Giovinazzi. Let's see what he can do. I'm expecting him to come out round about, probably behind Mick Schumacher. Hopefully, though, ahead of Hamilton, as it's a much better stop there for Giovinazzi. The Red Bulls have gone past. Mick should go past. And if we are in front of Hamilton, that is roughly where we want it to be. And we are just in front of Hamilton. Now, this is our massively soft tyre. Have a go. Just push and try and, get as much... now, do we have him not fighting teammate? We do. We'll take that off because if he catches and can then pass Mick, that is absolutely fine. We need to get Hamilton off our ass. That's the problem here, isn't it? With DRS, that could be a little bit of a problem. Let's deploy. Let's try and keep him behind us. And... we have, to a point there, just about managed it. Though we do feel a little bit like a bit of a sitting duck here, don't we? Let's go deploy again. If we can get to the back of Mick with DRS, that will help, obviously. But yeah. There's a danger, of course, that we're just dragging Hamilton up to the back of Mick Schumacher here. But anyway, that's where we're at. And hopefully, I don't think we'll continue to fight this. If Hamilton wants to get past, we'll just use that to charge up our ERS. But yeah, he looks like he's... we've seen off that challenge, hopefully, anyway. Alright, we've got a big crash. Is it a safety car crash? What has happened? Has Giovinazzi been taken out again? No. So it's Lance Stroll. What a shame. Is that K-Mag? No, it's Hulkenberg and Stroll. I wouldn't say it's a big crash. That's a bit of exaggeration. So that's a shame, because that would have been a useful time for a safety car, given that Mick is now in his pit window. So we'll go back to aggressive. Alonso is absolutely flying, though he's on a hard tyre and in all likelihood going to the end, but... he's going to slow down, obviously, on those tyres. Giovinazzi, he can go full push. What we don't need to do is send them both in the same lap. But Verstappen is in. So, yeah, pit stops are going to be just around the corner here. We need 2 good ones. I mean, that is the absolute minimum. We need to get 2 good stops. And see where that leaves us. Alright, now Mick is coming in this lap to put on another set of mediums. Giovinazzi will be coming in the next lap, so let's actually just do this now before I forget. You'll be coming in this lap, Gio. But yeah, Mick needs to get a better stop than he got last time. Did Hamilton come in with us? No. So he's going to have to come in on the soft tyre. It's much better. It's still a little slow, but it's much better than it was last time. So we need Mick to do a nice big push lap here, and then that should be him in front of Hamilton. So yeah, we won't risk anything on that. Giovinazzi has been doing some decent lap times. This is not what we needed though. Traffic gets out of the way, thankfully. And he's going to come in, put on his medium tyre. He's putting on a medium tyre, isn't he? I think that's what I said. And yeah, let's see. He's 3rd and 4th is what we're aiming for here. Now, Alonso isn't going to be stopping again. Is Hamilton coming in going to slow us up? No, we get out just in time. Now, the big question is, does Mick get out ahead of Lewis Hamilton? What's his sector times been like this lap? Not brilliant, it's got to be said.
No go.
He was deploying. He should get out in front of it. It shouldn't be a problem, and indeed, we are out in front of him. So... Giovinazzi is only 3 seconds behind Max. Is Max on a medium tyre? He is. The 2 Alpines and Alonso are going to the end. Third and fourth is what we want here. We want to be the 2 cars behind the Red Bull. Alonso, though, is the challenge. Can we catch and pass Alonso? We are, what's that? 17 and 27 seconds behind him. So, yeah, that's going to be a bit of an ask, perhaps. Maybe he can do a Lance Stroll for us. Alright, now Hamilton has come out on a set of soft tyres. He's absolutely flying. They are going to degrade, though. Now, we're on board with Mick. He is currently behind Hamilton, but he's also here behind Gasly, but not for long, I would hope, on his hard tyre, the one stopping Pierre Gasly. And just up the road from him is Ocon, who's about to get overtaken. You can see up there, just in front of us, by Hamilton. So, oh, Mick's run wide. He didn't spin it, so he's not lost too much time there. But I think with that, we've lost any chance of him being able to catch Alonso. Alonso's just done a lap in the 29s. Never mind, yeah, that might be difficult for anybody to catch. As Russell's coming in, so that's going to give Mick another spot. That should be, depending how fast Russell can go, that should be not too badly. He shouldn't be able to come back at him, I don't think. Yeah, that pace from Alonso, though, I wonder if that was assisted with DRS and maybe some errors trying to fight off Perez to overtake him. Yeah, because that's slightly concerning. Maybe 4th and 5th is what we want, but we need Hamilton to slow up a little bit as well. But I think he's already doing that. His times have dropped off to just a little bit behind what Giovinazzi's doing, and Giovinazzi actually can go more aggressive on his tyres as well now. So, yeah. We're going to the end here. We are fast. We'll see what sort of time Mick does recovering from that running wide. It only cost him 2 seconds. In the grand scheme of things, yeah, he's back in the 30s. It's not the end of the world. It just might mean that Hamilton's gone. But we've got to get past these 2 Alpines first. Alright, so annoyingly, the Alpines are doing the old Carlos Sainz trick, which is making it very difficult for Mick to get past. Now, we've burnt out the battery trying to do this, and this is costing us very, very valuable time to Hamilton. Can we get it done? There we can. All right, now that should, if we can make that stick, which we've not really been able to do because we don't have any battery out of that corner. We need to get past one, so the other one becomes a bit of a sitting duck for us then with DRS. Well, with no they'll have no DRS. We will have DRS. We will deploy, and Mick's done in the end quite well to get past them there. So yeah, nicely done. We'll set off after Hamilton, but he's doing good lap times. Alonso is dropping off a little bit. Giovinazzi's about a second a lap faster, but he's a fair ways back with only 7 or 8 laps to go. It might be 4th and 6th we're looking at here. That would be a little disappointing. Alright, well, this race has more or less sort of petered out into a bit of a nothing. Giovinazzi's got some decent laps. It feels like he can do one good lap, and then I don't know if the tyres are overheating or what his problem is. He's 5 seconds behind Verstappen. Mick is the same sort of gap behind Hamilton. We're fairly comfortable with the Mercedes behind both cars as well. So there's not really a great deal happening. It was sort of threatening to be a decent race for us. The one stop has worked brilliantly for Alonso. If you look at his lap times up here, he's doing roughly the same pace as, considering he's one stopping. He's only a little bit slower than everybody, so it worked very well for him. Thankfully, Stroll's had a bad race, so hopefully he's not going to score anything. And we might even get out of this race as the second top scoring team and pull in a little bit on that gap of how many points it is now to Aston Martin. So we can only chip away at it, having lost out, of course, big time in Austria. That's all we can really do. But yeah, it's not been a classic. It's not been a bad race, we've had battles and whatnot. But yeah, we're on board with Mick now, coming around to start his last lap. Ocon is locked up. Now, is that going to cost him anything? Because he's sitting there in 8th. No. Yeah, no, the intervals are quite big there. Yeah, so it's as I say, Perez has won. It's not been a classic by any means. Looks as though Giovinazzi is about to lap a McLaren and go and finish 4th at the British Grand Prix. And then we'll just politely wait for Mick to come around. Where is he at Stowe now? Into club. think that's club, isn't it? And he will finish 6th. So decent, a solid race without being spectacular. So there we go. I mean, the one stop only really worked for Alonso. The Alpine sort of stayed roughly where they were, but everybody else, you know, didn't. One stop didn't appear to work for them. K-Mag moved up 8 places with a 2 stop. So I think we're on the right strategy, and it just, maybe we're just not quick enough. Sometimes you just got to hold your hands up. Now, we scored 20 points, so we did outscore Aston Martin by 2 points, so we've edged it back to almost an insignificant amount. That puts Giovinazzi back ahead of Mick in the drivers, but we're not too concerned about that for this year, I wouldn't have thought. So yeah, that is what it is. And the constructors, we've pulled out 4 points on Mercedes, pulled back 2 on Aston Martin. Again, we just look, as long as something doesn't go horribly wrong for us, we do just look like a team that's going to come third, and hopefully that's going to be enough for us not to get sacked. As for pit stops, still nothing there for us. I don't really understand how to make us get better stops, to be honest, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, we know that there was a disastrous one for Mick first time up. I mean, those stops, I mean, they're a little slow, the second ones. 2.5 is okay, 0.3 of a second. It's not great to lose, but I'm okay with that. But when you start getting half a second and more, that's when you start affecting undercuts, or the ability to undercut, or losing out to an undercut. So yeah, we definitely need to improve and get a little bit better there. So there we go. Hungary is the next Grand Prix. So that is, we'll see how that goes in terms of suiting our car. It's difficult to know, isn't it? We will have any new parts? No, it doesn't look like we will. So the regulation votes are going to be announced, so that will allow us to work on next year's car. Actually, we can see here what the proposed regulation change is. And it is to move up engine parts. I mean, you have to vote for that, don't you? It'll help us not get penalties. So very much I am in favour of that one. So there we go. That is that. If you're interested in the F2 and F3 results, you can see the feature race there. And yeah, I will see you next time in Hungary. If you've enjoyed that, thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. And yeah, not a classic. Take care.